let's talk a little bit about anniversaries here. And I know, you know, I don't want to beat the dead horse of the Wind Waker thing any longer, the Wind Waker Twilight Princess thing, because it's now been like 4 or 5 of these speculation episodes in a row that we've been talking about that. But it is Zelda's 40th anniversary next year, Pokemon's 30th anniversary next year. Do you see anything for Zelda?
No. Well, yes, but not in the way that we think. Like, I think Twilight Princess is just going to be an NSO GameCube drop. I don't think we're
Mhm.
going to get the Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker
I think
HD.
I think I'd be okay with Twilight Princess just coming to GameCube. Although the HD version was so much better. They just fixed
Yeah.
so much stuff with it, you know?
I just don't see it happening at this point. But I do think we will see something Zelda related, but I mean, it's way too early for a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like that's at least another 3 years off in the future. However, I could see some sort of a remake or some sort of something like that. I'm not going to say Grezzo doing anything remake related because someone in the Discord will roast me constantly about it. So
Who could that be?
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. You know, David, you like to eat things or promise to eat things, and I'm falling on my Charlie Brown football face,
Sure.
wishing that Grezzo was making some remakes. But you know, we've been hearing rumors about an Ocarina of Time remake. I don't see it, but what do y'all think? Do y'all think that is a possibility for this?
I think it's really possible for the 40th anniversary of Zelda. I think to this day, the most beloved Zelda game is still Ocarina of Time, you know, culturally. You know, I think that when people think of that, they think of the classic of that game right now. I mean, I think that's going to change over time with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but I think that that's pretty likely. I think that would be a huge blowout announcement. What do you think, Patrick?
I think you want to keep Zelda in people's thoughts. We got the movie coming up, but I do think that it could arguably be a bunch of cheap things like adding Twilight Princess and making a big deal about it and giving us a movie trailer and giving us some other small thing. I don't even know what that would be. Some little spin-off game or NSO game or something.
Yeah.
I would love for something bigger like an Ocarina of Time remake or a old Zelda remake would be cool too. Like one of the first couple games. But I'm kind of thinking that they're going to try to keep Zelda in our feeds and in our minds and in our hearts in sort of small ways with NSO and movie news.
Yeah.
I think something that's going to be really telling is if by the end of 2026 we get a brand new Mario game. Like whether we're going to get a brand new Zelda game in 2027, because you know, when the first Mario movie came out, we got Super Mario Wonder later in the year. If we get this Mario movie and then we get another like brand new Mario game at the end of the year, maybe 2027 we see some sort of brand new Zelda at the end of the year. But I really don't feel like they care enough, and I feel like it might just be like here is Ocarina of Time for 3DS, but like upscaled in a really nice way, which I would be okay with. But I don't know if we're going to get a full blown remake personally.
I'm leaning towards it, I think. I think that, you know, Grezzo has done an Ocarina of Time remake before. You know, this wouldn't be the first time they've done it, and they're getting increasingly efficient at it. And I think I see it happening. I think it's a generally low overhead, high cultural impact thing that they can drop this year for Zelda. I think that we will see like a Zelda section of a direct, or maybe just a full-on Zelda 40th anniversary direct that includes a teaser for the movie, which is coming not 2026 but 2027. So that'll be the first teaser, the first bit of footage that we actually see with some visual effects on it that are, you know, crafted just for the teaser. And then we'll also get the reveal of Ocarina of Time. I kind of think that's how it's going. Maybe we'll get some other doodads and whatnots in there, but I think it is definitely worth talking about the big 3D Mario shaped elephant in the room here. You know, a lot of people are saying it's too close to the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza for, you know, the EPD to have made another game by this point. I just don't think that's the case. I truly am standing on my ground here that Donkey Kong Bonanza has been done for at least 2 years, right? And that is more than enough time for them to have been working on another 3D Mario in the interim. And not only that, I think that they probably were working on a follow-up to Odyssey before they even started development on Bonanza. I think that Bonanza originally started as a Mario game. We saw in development footage there that it was a Goomba with big stretchy arms that was punching stuff that eventually turned into Donkey Kong. So I think it's very likely that we do get a 3D Mario at the end of this year, although I can see both ways. I could see them waiting a little bit longer, being like, if we're not going to get it out in time for the movie, which they wouldn't, is it worth getting it out at the end of this year at all? But just in my heart, I kind of feel like this year is going to be a little bit more like fringe. Like we've had a lot of like fringe stuff coming out for the Switch 2 already, and they've been bolstering it with Nintendo Switch 2 editions. I see that kind of remaining this year, but then big tentpoles like an Ocarina remake and then a 3D Mario at the end of the year, plus the mainstays that you get like Pokemon Gen and stuff like that will make it to where at the end of this year, everybody's like, man, Nintendo had a great year because they had like one or two super bangers. But Patrick, what do you think? Do you think we're seeing a new 3D Mario, and what form do you think that might take?
I'm very much on the fence about whether it happens. If it does happen, I think I'm with you that it is like a November holiday release. But if there's a Pokemon game then too, I mean, but maybe that's their double hitter for making Switch 2's sell in 2026 holiday.
That's a great point.
We got two big games. By this system you've been holding off playing your Switch 1. Now it's time. You got brand new Pokemon that's exclusive, brand new 3D Mario. That'll convince some folks. So I can see that strategy. And I also could see, well, there's no rush. We got people, we got Pokemon or whatever. I'm not on the Galaxy train though. I think if they miss the movie closely, then I think it's whatever it is. And I mean, my hope is that it's new. I don't want Mario Odyssey 2 at this point. I don't want Galaxy 3 at this point. I want Mario blank that I can't even think of.
Mario Renaissance.
But Jordan, you had some thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just, Pokemon just feels like November to me, and both Odyssey and Super Mario Brothers Wonder came out in October. I feel like if it's going to happen, that's when it's going to be.
I see October for Mario as well if it does come out this year. Yeah. I see October Mario. I see November Pokemon. I see them kind of going back to their normal release cadence that we saw over the years of the Switch 1, right? That's kind of what we saw there. And I think that, that's a great point you brought up about selling more units, and Nintendo said in their briefing, they're like, we're not trying to focus on Switch 1 development any longer. We are focusing on Nintendo Switch 2 development now. You obviously have some stuff still coming out, like we talked about with Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life, but those were revealed a long time ago. I kind of don't think they're going to be revealing any new Switch 1 games. I'd love to be right on that as well.
Yeah, I'd like that to be the case too. Yeah,
I don't want to have to eat my words on that one when looking back on the 2026 predictions at the end of the year. But man, I would like Galaxy, and I feel like there's been so much smoke on Galaxy. And yes, obviously the movie is Galaxy, but it's like, think about how, well, just the sales of all these games are bolstered by these movies, like a big movie. I think Nintendo's realizing, like, I think, they felt more inclined to make the theme park and the Donkey Kong game in general because Donkey Kong was a huge part of the movie. They're using a lot of that stuff to really bolster their game sales. And they've talked about everything they do with multimedia is to bolster game sales. So I am really still holding out for a Galaxy 3. I think bringing modern controls, modern game design sensibilities to that sort of Galaxy style platforming with, the gravity and the orbs and all that stuff. My mouth salivates just thinking about it. So I don't know what else would salivate other than my mouth. That was a little redundant there, but you guys get the idea. I'm still holding out for that. But either way, I would give it probably like a 60 to 70% chance that we do see a new Mario 3D game this year. Haters be damned.